being on the stage doesn't make you powerful. Clarity does. Being clear, knowing who you are, what you're here to do, and who you're meant to serve makes all the difference in the world. Let's talk about that a little bit today. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 41 books now and counting. It still throws me every time I say that because it's just so cool. Um, I've had the wonderful privilege after more than 20 years working with authors, 40 years as a marketing company, to be able to work with over 5,000 people, with their books, writing, publishing, marketing to bestseller and everything that goes beyond that. Doctors, lawyers, nurses, Fortune 500 companies, but also startup companies, stay-at-home moms, people who are making powerful, amazing impact in the world that they are in. Some of them you've heard of. Some of them you may never specifically hear of because they're doing things in a space that isn't really made for you. See, another piece of clarity has to do with knowing what you're saying and who you need to say it to. You don't need to shout from the rooftops for every single person in the world to hear it. You need to, in fact, even sometimes silently whisper in a very small shadow for specifically and exactly the specific person who needs to hear what you have to say. Now, many of you know I'm going to be in Provo, Utah next week. And I'd love to have you come and join me. You're welcome to say, hey, I want tickets. And let's get you hooked up with tickets to the event, March 12, 13, and 14, Provo, Utah. Whether you want to fly in or you live in the area, I would love to have you come and visit. And I love being on stage. I love talking to people. Those of you that have been bearing with me here for the last year when I go live every single day, I've got plenty and lots to say. Hopefully, some of it even is kind of good, right? But it's not as much as I love being on stage and as much as I want for you to share on whatever size stage you dream of. It's not the stage that is going to make you powerful. It's not the stage that's going to make you show up. It isn't how many people are in the room that makes it worth it. You could be talking literally on, social media to a room of zero. You could look up in the top left-hand corner is what I have on this particular, on StreamYard that I'm using here. And you can see no people are listening. It happens probably more often than most people want to know. You could also look up and you could see, we were looking at it the other day. Somebody even commented, there was it went from 2 to 50 and nothing flat. It was really kind of cool to see. But the number of people that are watching for hours, minutes, seconds, they pop in, they pop right back off. Hey, D3, glad to see you here with us today. That's not what is going to determine how incredibly, amazingly impactful you are. Your clarity is. You knowing who you are, knowing what you're meant to do, and then showing up in this world as the best version of yourself. Hey, Elizabeth, glad to have you here with us. That's what's going to make the difference. That's what's powerful, is not, something that goes massively viral and there's, all 8 billion people on the planet, every single last one of them sees it. That would be kind of cool, but it doesn't necessarily make you any more powerful. It isn't about, any of those kind of things. The real true power comes from knowing very specifically and clearly who you are. Willie J and I were having a really great conversation about this actually yesterday. And we were actually talking about God. Now, this isn't my way of proselytizing you. It's just simply a matter of, it's a great way of really showing it. And that is simply the matter. Looks like maybe we lost LinkedIn. I'm not sure why, but hopefully our wonderful LinkedIn friends will join us and be able to join in with us. The thing about it is, And I like this talk more than anything because I think all too often our our definition of God and how and what and all of those kind of things, I think a lot of times we really suffer because what we've come up with is too small. We've based it on people that are failures in our own life or things that have let us down versus having a view of God that is someone who sees themselves and knows themselves. True humility is having a right perspective of yourself, being able to say, hey, I'm really great at this thing. If you're really great at something, it is okay to, without braggadociousness, without, a need for conceit, to just simply say, hey, I'm really good at that kind of a thing. You need to be the one who acknowledges you. I've said many times, hey, Tree, glad to have you here with us. I've said many, many, many times, you should be the person who is liking, actually hearting, your thing that you posted. You should be the first person to do that. You should be the one making the comment on it. You should read back through your book and go, wow, this is really good stuff. Not because you're a narcissist and you're staring at your beautiful reflection in the pond that you see there, but simply just because you can acknowledge that you are good at that thing. I am on TikTok. I haven't posted anything on TikTok for a while. And honestly, it's just because it wasn't really catching. I don't know why. I'm still learning TikTok. We'll figure out exactly probably what's going to work more in TikTok is going to be more stories and those kind of things. But glad to have you here with us, Jevin. Leanne, how do we see him if we keep going to the wolves, but we must remember that God is always there? Yeah, we look at the troubles in life. We look at the downside to things, and we don't have that grand of a scale. And then it trickles down to us because then we have a false definition of what being humble is. We convince ourselves that it's, self-deprecating is humility, that denying ourselves is somehow being humble. And none of those things really is. Again, the true definition of humility is having a right perspective of yourself, being able to say, without any need to brag about it or anything really, this is what I'm good at. And also, hey, this is what I'm not great at. I give you a perfect example in my own life, okay? I love coming on live with you guys. And whether I am scrambling the last minute to figure out, hey, what should I talk to you guys about today? Or I've got a whole month ahead that I've planned out. And I've done both. And I don't know that really, in looking back, that I've seen a whole lot of statistical difference between which way I do it. I love doing that. And I feel good about it. I'm going to even, without any intention to brag, say that I'm pretty good at just being able to express and say who I am and what I do in the world. I love being able to go one-on-one with people and look at their book and see and be able to tell them, hey, if you did these 1, 2, 3 things, you would have an impact. And then do it with them or see them do it and see the impact of that. Those kind of things are really super cool. I love having the capability to do that. Conversely, though I have some amazing editors that are on my team, I'm not that. Not that I can't. I actually know grammar and editing and those things as well as probably most, probably even potentially better than many do. I have a pretty good grasp of it. Most of that having to do with how much reading I do, both now part of my job as well as, my whole life. I've always loved reading. But it's not me living in the best place that I can be. It's actually a place that puts me kind of in a grumpy space. Um, and hopefully that isn't shining through today. I just got done having to have to edit somebody's stuff, um, for lots of reasons. But at the end of the day, um, we have to be able to say the things and say, hey, I'm really good at this. I'm really good at the talking. Uh, I'm not so great at editing. It really lights me up to come on here and be able to speak to you. It really dims my light to have to go through line by line on any kind of a document and check for errors. It just is not a cool, fun thing for me. Okay. In general, all people need is air, water, and food, and sleep to survive. Well, even if you go into something like, say, psychology, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we do need food, air, water, and sleep. But we also actually need companionship. We need things that we're doing. If you just sat in a space, okay, let's say you sat on a rock, so you don't even sit comfortably, okay? If you just sat or stood, doesn't matter. You could even be in a comfy chair. If you just sat there and you had air to breathe, water to drink, and enough food to keep you alive, okay? I'm not talking about food enjoyment. I'm talking about, just breaking down, Haspel, what you were saying. You would actually begin to decay as a human being. We as people are creative. We have gifts, we have talents, we have things that we are created to do, are meant to be in this world. And just sitting there with just those three basic needs, air, water, food, would not allow us to stay alive. They talked about a little bit about that, sort of, in the movie The Matrix. They were talking about how the machines made the world perfect. And people were dying off in droves because we need things that challenge us. We want to learn and grow and have things that are difficulties and all those kind of things. All of those are also a part of what we need in life. And especially when you start talking about relationships and companionships and communication and those kind of things, we need other people in our life. Nobody is really meant to live in a cave someplace by themselves, which is why very often the worst, and some have even called it the most inhumane treatment, is total solitary confinement, especially if you lock them in a place that has no fresh sunlight even in it. But it really can have an impact on that. You would exercise and count rocks or sand grains to keep yourself entertained. You would move, you would interact. And at the end of the day, you would find yourself, talking even to yourself, counting the grains of sand out loud. We're just made that way as people. And that's okay. Some people are very, very, not really extroverted, because extrovert and introvert really has to do with what being around other people does to your energy level. But some people are loud, they're boisterous, they're very outgoing. Other people are quiet and shy and timid and may never say not more than 2 or 3 words. Some of the times you'll find those shy people, when they do say things, that one word that they say just is like zing, just really powerful at the whole room. All of those kind of things, which is why, again, I come back to where we started. And that's that, though being in front of the crowd, talking, sharing, doing all those things, putting your book out there, having it go massively, wildly viral, and a ton of people getting it, that's not what's powerful. What's powerful is being clear enough to be able to really cleanly and clearly share who you are. If you are ready, if you want to move to a bigger level than where you are right now, if you want to do the things, you absolutely have it available. And Husafella, you're absolutely right. One of my good friends, Nafisa, and she's been on the show, on my radio show a couple of times, talks about knowing yourself well enough to know whether you're a homebody or you're somebody that wants to travel. You know, all too often we get jobs that take us out on the road 300 days a year when we really would just as soon be at home. Or conversely, that we're stuck behind a desk when really what we want to do is travel and adventure and explore the world. So, at the end of the day, that connection that we feel, sometimes it's that very personal connection, one-on-one. We have, and there are people who have really only one person in their life. And there are other people who have hundreds of people. And usually the person with the one relationship, that's very deep and it goes really deep. And the people with hundreds tend to be very shallow and superficial. Again, I'm talking at a very high level in psychology. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody here today. I'm just simply trying to reflect to you how incredibly cool and powerful it is when you're clear and you know exactly who you are and what lights you up and what gets you going. If you're ready, you've been preparing and now you're ready to do that next thing for you. Bigger rooms, bigger stages, write that book, share your message. If you're ready for that clarity, comment the word clarity. Comment the word ready. I know I just said two things at the same time because I'm looking at my notes too. Just say you're ready. Let me know. I'm here to help. I want to help you be the best version of you that you can be in this world, in the day that's called today. Because here's the thing. Being up on stage, talking in front of crowds, being in rooms, big or small, they don't change you. You show up in the place that you're meant to show up, and you change the places that you're at. I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate your comments today. Leanne. All right, Leanne, go to AskSteveKidd.com and let's schedule a time for you and I to talk. Let me help you make it to that next step with you. I would really appreciate it. Just grab my calendar, AskSteveKidd.com. I'm really excited to talk in more detail with you. Let me just type that in here so that anybody else that is watching on the replay could do it too. I would really, really love to talk to you. I look forward to it, Leanne. And for everybody that is here today, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you so much. We're going to be back again tomorrow. And until then, let me know any way that I can help you. I'm so excited to be here with you. Until then, I hope you're happy, safe, warm, and loved, and that you have a great week.